Ladies and gentlemen, one of my lasting memories of growing up in the North Shore of New Brunswick, especially in the Jack River Gravel Hill area, was an incident involving a child who was banned from Catholic Church for bringing in a certain comic book to bide the time between communion and release. Now, this kid was, I don't know if it was an issue of Strange Adventures where he appeared in or his own comic book, but he was reading a Deadman comic book from DC Comics created by the late great Neil Adams, and eventually the child was banned from church and possibly the parents because they said they were promoting Satanism. Well, Deadman, if anything, was one of the most spiritual characters DC ever created. Neil Adams made it that way, and I met Neil Adams several times over years at celebrity events in Massachusetts and Rhode Island over the years. We talked about it, and Neil said, well, I don't think that's the only place where this happened. He said there was a lot of controversy. Now, the controversy with Deadman in 2022 was that why isn't there been a TV series or movie on Deadman, despite the fact all the DC Berlanti universe shows? Legends of Tomorrow would have been a good fit, The Flash, Arrow, everything else. Deadman is probably one of the most well-written and most well-presented characters of all time, and he's appeared on and off in major projects, including Kingdom Come and various miniseries. But today we're going to be talking about the start of Deadman, not all the different machinations, but where he came from, who created him, and how his impact was sort of like that, what they call that DC Green Arrow, Green Lantern, a reality era of DC Comics, getting away from the Batman 66 and stuff like that. Now, Deadman, published by DC Comics, features one Boston Brand. He's a fictional superhero. He first appeared in Strange Adventures 205 in October 1967 and was created by Arnold Drake and Carmen Infantino. Now, in the comic book, Drake and Infantino wrote and drew the first story. It was also included the first known depiction of narcotics in a story approved by the Comics Court Authority. The series is most associated with the art and writing of Neil Adams and the writing of Jack Miller, who took over from Infantino and Drake after the first story. Now, Adams didn't create the character, but he perfected it. The first story and all of the Adams stories were reprinted in 1985 as a 7-issue series. Pick it up if you can find it for less than $40. Now, although he appeared from time to time in the 1970s and 80s as a supporting character in various comics, including Batman and Superman series, including The Great Forever People by Jack Kirby, Deadman did not get his own series again until 1986 in a 4-issue limited written by Andrew Helfer and drawn by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, which picked up the story where Adams left off. Now, Deadman's next major storyline was when the underrated Action Comics Weekly in 88-89. After this, he started the 2-issue series Deadman, Love After Death, drawn by Kelly Jones and written by Mike Baron. This was followed by the limited series Deadman Exorcism in 1992, also written by Baron and drawn by Kelly Jones. Now, Jones's gaunt, zombie-like rendition of the character would later appear in the pages of Batman. Now, there was also a Deadman ongoing series in 2002, which lasted 9 issues, as well as a couple of standalone issues. His cameo appearances also continued, including several issues of Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing and Neil Gaiman's The Books of Magic. He had a cameo in books 2 and 3 of the Batman Gotham County line, which was released in November 2005. In 2009, Deadman was a featured title in the Wednesday comics, and again showed up in Kingdom Come. Now, the character and self-titled series have won numerous awards, including the 1967 Alley Award for Best New Strip by Drake and Infantino, and the 68 Alley Award Hall of Fame for Adams. DC Comics published a very, very beautiful slipcase hardcover edition collecting the original Deadman stories in December of 2001. Now, Deadman's retconned origin is revealed in Brightest Day number 14 of 2010, written by Jeff Jones and Peter Tomasi. Deadman has a 3-part miniseries called Deadman Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love, written by Sarah Vaughan, and the art was done by Lan Medina. Now, the origin was like this. He's a ghost. He's formerly a circus trapeze artist named Boston Brand, who performed in the name Deadman, a stage persona including a red costume and white corpse makeup. Not exactly like the Daredevil Marvel costume, and not like the various red costumes through the years, but pretty close. Now, when Brand is murdered during a trappy performance by a mysterious assailant known only as the Hook, his spirit is given the power to possess any living being by a Hindu god named Rama Krishna in order to search for his murderer and obtain justice. And it was well known back in the day he would go into the body and inhabit the body and come back out. It's quite a very dramatic stuff. It is established in Green Arrow, Volume 4, Number 4, that Deadman believes Rama is the supreme being of the universe. Now, at the end of the Neil Adams storyline, Deadman seems to discover the truth behind his murder and the ultimate fate of Hook, who killed Deadman as part of initiation into a society of contract killers who then kill him to silence him. However, the real Hook is one among many one-headed men who work for an organization known as the Scavengers. This group steals advanced technology for a profit. Now, fighting the Scavengers also led to Deadman gaining an artificial body for some time, thanks to the influence of the Great Forever People. This group had rented rooms from Trixie Magruder, an old circus companion of Deadman. Now, over the years, he went through numerous missions, a lot of crossovers. I know, team-ups and stuff like that. But as the years went on, we kept on wondering, when in the name of God is Deadman going to get his own series? He would show up in time. Now, as a disembodied spirit, Deadman could not be seen or heard by most others. Certain mystics could still perceive him. He was able to pass through objects and could fly or float. He was able to possess any living being, human or animal, control their actions, and could communicate with people through another body's presence. Furthermore, the possession process is nearly instant in transition, enabling Deadman to possess different bodies in rapid succession for tactical advantage in combat. Now, in one storyline, however, he could not control certain criminal henchmen he possessed due to their minds being under post-hypnotic suggestion, since their minds were again being controlled. Now, he also has issues possessing those with stronger minds like Batman, and is often forced out in a short amount of time. Deadman also has problems with magic, as his spiritual form can be manipulated by it to some degree. Now, as a living human, he was an Olympic-level athlete, well-trained in acrobatics. As aware of a white power ring, he possesses whatever powers the ring confers upon its wielder. These powers so far included flight, invisibility, or the ability to cloak his presence, teleportation, healing wounds, making solid energy constructs, and the power to bring beings back to life. He had no control over these new powers, and the scope of limitations on those powers are as yet undefined. Now, his Black Lantern power ring gave his reanimated corpse similar abilities, but it reanimates the dead instead of fully resurrecting them. Now, again, the Kingdom Come version, he appeared twice. First as an extra in a metahuman bar, alongside Rorschach, Obsidian, and The Question, where he offered some words of encouragement to hero Norman McKay. He also appears as a skeleton wearing the tattered remains of his Deadman uniform. He introduced himself as simply Boston, and also appears in the sequel, The Kingdom, as a guide to time-lost, deceased versions of Superman. This version of Deadman was made into an action figure by DC Direct as part of the Series 3 of the Kingdom Come line. Now, in 2006, a DC Comics imprint, Vertigo, traded some of his trademark characters with other DCs. Among the swaps were Vertigo's Jonah Hex in exchange for Deadman. The result was a continuing series published after this year. Now, the years have gone on, and there's other talk about going on. Now, following the success of X-Men in 2000, Warner Bros. Announced that a Deadman television film for TNT was in development, which was also being considered as a pilot for a potential television series. The project was in development until 2003, but it was later shelved, probably because of the problem with special effects. Now, in 2011, WB-TV hired Supernatural creator Eric Kripke to helm a Deadman television series for the CW, as the network was looking to commission a new superhero series. The following year, another superhero series, Arrow, debuted on the network and stayed there for a few years. Now, The Deadman series never materialized, and Kripke has since moved on to other projects. Now, Deadman has appeared in animation form in numerous shows, including Justice League and Unlimited, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Teen Titans Go, and of course DC Nations Shorts. Now, Guillermo del Toro has taken interest in producing a film about Deadman, supposedly from the only source. Now, Variety reported that Nikolai Arcel was set to direct. Now, Deadman appears in Justice League Dark. Again, Totoro did the voice, and Deadman again appears in Teen Titans Go to the movies. Now, the Dick Grayson incarnation of Deadman is called Deadwing, appears in Injustice. Now, he's also a playable character in the video game Lego DC Supervillains as part of the Justice League Dark DLC character pack. Now, collected editions, again, the Deadman collection, one of the big ones, Strange Adventures 205 to 216, Brave and the Bold 79, 86, 104, Aquaman 50 to 52, and the underrated Challengers of the Unknown, number 74. That came out in 2001, 342 pages. Now, Deadman book 1 includes 205 and 2013 inclusive. And then the next one is Brave and the Bold 79 and 86, Strange Adventures 2014, 214-16, Aquaman the Challenger. Now, he also appeared in Phantom Stranger, Superman Family, World Finest, and of course DC Superstars. He also appeared in DC Special Series, Adventure Comics, DC Comics Presents, Secret Origins, the Deadman series, Volume 1 to 4, Volume 2, again, Challengers of the Unknown again, and numerous other comics too numerous to list. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it would take probably no more than $20 or $30 million in special effects to get this done. You can do a short series, but you have Netflix, you have Disney, you have all these channels. They could do much with Deadman. I would think, ladies and gentlemen, the best person that could play Deadman, he's well too old right now. He's kind of like a Bruce Willis style character, but there's a myriad of actors could play Deadman, because Deadman is quite important to true fans of the spiritual side of DC Comics. There is a heavy spiritual side for DC in the late 60s, early 70s. But ladies and gentlemen, I saw the first issue. I had a co-worker at the Hamilton Tribune had a first issue of Deadman. Not too bad of a shape. I think it was like a 5 or a 6 on the quality scale. Ladies and gentlemen, each page of a Deadman comic book just sings quality. Now, I feel very fortunate to have met Neil Adams and to say thank you for the series. He basically said, maybe I think Deadman is bigger in Canada than any other country, and I tell you why. Because Daredevil didn't really catch on in Canada, but Deadman did, because the film noir aspect of Deadman, see, Mickey Spillane in certain parts of Canada and some of the other film noir as well, including Alfred Hitchcock and different stuff. The poorer the area of Canada, the more Deadman and film noir would draw people, like suspense. But like I said, you're trying to sell comic books to a normally age group of Deadman would be a 12-year-old. This wasn't children's comic books. This was like 17 to 30 years of age. And some of the plots in Deadman were so friggin', like I said, over the top spiritual. I mean, there's no description of it. You have to read it for yourself. But like I said, the ability for a person who's been murdered to basically continue to fight for justice, even though he cannot get his body back, it's quite interesting. So ladies and gentlemen, in tribute to Neil Adams and in tribute to all the Deadman fans, this is your podcast. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And if this is the first time you're hearing about Deadman, you're going to Google it tonight and look at the covers between 1967 into the 1970s. Ladies and gentlemen, what a honor to pass on that talent of Neil and everybody else. Enjoy it. If this is your first time looking at Deadman, you're welcome, because you're going to be turned on to something very important which made DC Comics history. Thanks for listening. Bye.